welcome to Beyond the Bio. Today's guests are a true power duo in business and in life. Danny and Katie Bloomfield are property investors, coaches, speakers, and the founder of Bloomfields, a mentoring brand built around helping people create lives that actually feel good, not just look good for the gram. Between them, they've built a £10 million property portfolio, a blended family of 6, and a brand that's grounded in what they call your wealthy life, combining mindset, health, money, and relationships. What I love about these two is how real they are. So they don't just talk about freedom, they've actually built it, and they're showing others how to do the same. In this episode, we're talking about building a personal brand as a couple, how they stay aligned through business and family life, and what it really takes to build success that feels good, not just looks good. Let's get stuck in. Okay, so Danny and Katie, welcome to the show. I often talk about how I've met my guests on the show because I think networking is a really important part of building your brand. And obviously we met in LA back in, God, when was it? May, June? I can't even remember now.
May.
Mid-May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like a long time ago now.
It does. I think as it's getting colder now, we're definitely feeling it. But one of the things that I loved about hearing and seeing you guys on that retreat was this whole sense of identity as you two as a couple. And I remember listening to some of the things you were saying and thinking, oh my God, that sounds amazing that you've built this life together and that you work together, but clearly have a really strong relationship. And I definitely observed that and it felt very genuine to me. And you do have a strong shared brand identity, but let's go back a little bit and tell us about how it all started and how, at what point did you realize that building this together it was actually your superpower?
Oh, interesting question, isn't it? Do you know what? I think we didn't realise it was our superpower until we were actually doing it. We've had businesses, haven't we, in the past? But when COVID happened, I was pregnant. We had 5 other children as well. We were running these businesses, and the property side of it was more of a retirement plan at the time then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And we realised that I because I was pregnant, I had to not work. And then we realised, actually, we do this really well together. Let's do it more.
Yeah. And COVID also brought that time where you really, I think everyone thought about what do I now want? It almost created a little bit of a natural pause in life, didn't it? And I think that for us, it was definitely what do we want? And it was creating a life together, which we were doing already, but creating a whole life together where it wasn't separate work, personal, private, family, all disjointed. It was, right, let's create this just one life where everything's part of it.
I love it. I think it's really strong. And I think a lot of people aspire to have what you guys have got. Absolutely. And I guess now, though, you're often seen as a package deal, but you are both strong individuals as well. How are you balancing being recognized as a couple, but also maintaining your own personal brands and voices?
That's a great question. I think that's knowing who you are, right? Who you are as individuals and who we are together. Now, early on in our relationship, we talked about values, didn't we? What are our values? We've got a blended family. For anyone out there who's tried to put 2 families together to be one, we don't like to use the term step and half. We are just family. And then we've obviously added another one into that. But we talked really early doors, didn't we, about what our values as parents and family were, didn't we? So we know what we were bringing, that ethos throughout the team. And I say team because it was the family there, and we enjoy different things, don't we?
There's no ego involved in it. So it's not like personally either of us want to be the ones with the right answer, the ones at the front of the stage all the time. Or if Kate is ready to do that, I'm quite happy to let her do that as a 2 as well. So we're quite happy to let each other sort of go in the front, go behind, support each other.
And I think what I observe is you've both got slightly different perspectives on the same situation as well. So when you're talking about things, actually it really complements each other, and it works really, really well because you have got that slightly different tone or personality that you bring into it as well. So it works. Keep doing it. I love it. Brilliant.
Thank you.
People often describe you as couple goals, and that's totally what I got as a vibe when we were in LA. And I remember just thinking, God, that would just be amazing. And I feel like I now actually have that as well. So not as advanced as you guys are, but I really get that whole supporting each other, and it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant, and you two model it so well. But tell me about what's the reality behind it? What boundaries or habits are you putting in there to protect your relationship while you're growing a business and also raising the children? How are you making that work? Because you make it look really bloody easy. It can't be. Surely.
No, it's not. That anything that's worth having doesn't come easy, doesn't it? So we've both got previous marriages behind us. I don't use the word failed, previous, because it's all happened to get to this point, okay? And we're very grateful for it, aren't we? I think knowing what you don't want gives you a really good clue of what you do want. So our actual job as those parents and leaders of that team is to model the behaviour that we want. So like Dan's already said, we remove ego from a lot of things. If I'm speaking and want to go to the front of the stage, then that's fine. Dan's going to be there to support me. And equally, I will say, right, your turn to take the stage. In that sort of scenario, but knowing what we didn't want gives us a really good clue to what we do want. So we do have times when we disagree. I'm sure anybody listening will know that, even in a healthy relationship, you need to disagree, but you need to disagree in a respectful, kind, and you need to hear what each other's saying, and a lot of the time your own stuff, we work on our own self as well as on our relationship together, don't we?
Yeah.
Do you want to share a bit about there are but strategies that we have in place. So
yeah, we just looking back, we tried to look for the breadcrumbs and the clues. What are the clues for success, and what are the trip hazards, I guess. And we've tried to then create, with everything we're doing, some kind of formula, process, strategy, structure behind it, so it's repeatable and scalable, even in our personal life. So we started off with some really basic stuff like no blame culture. So without all of the family, all of the kids, one of the first things we implemented with the children was, listen, this is a no blame culture zone. So if you come in here and you want to start blaming things, either out you go and come back and try again, or we need to really talk about that. And that was tough to start with, a culture change. But that especially as they became teenagers, or the teenagers are already there, but bit by bit that just evolved and happened. And there's certain things that have really helped it. So we have in our own personal life, we call it our 7-7-7 strategy. So every 7 days we have a small date together. It might be an hour walking the dog, or a coffee, or whatever it might be, but just us two.
No phones,
no children. Every 7 weeks, it's something longer, and typically it might be an evening out, or an evening away, or a spa day, something like that. And every 7 months, then it's at least 24 hours, but ideally 2 or 3 nights away. Again, no children, can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be somewhere really exotic or expensive, just anywhere. Again, just for us. And we will naturally talk about business stuff as well, because that's our life, that's our rounded life that we like talking about. But we're not working, it doesn't feel like work. We're talking about the exciting visionary stuff, the things we want to do, where do we want to travel, what's going on with the kids, what do we want to do there, who do we need to help more at the moment, or less. And so there's things that we've got in place that just make it repeatable and scalable. I'll come back to that. So everything we do, Sophie, we try and be really intentional about everything we're doing, which hopefully does make it look easy, but it definitely isn't. But it's getting easier to do, because it's just a repeatable model now that we're fine tuning.
Hello, it's Max here from the Moja team, interrupting this episode to bring you some important Moja news. We're making moves to get you known in 2026 by launching the Get Known Club. The Get Known Club is our new members community for founders and professionals who are great at what they do but could use a little help getting seen. Each month you'll get straightforward training, practical templates and a supportive community to help you to show up with confidence and consistency without the overwhelm. Join the waitlist and you'll also get access to the Get Known Game Plan, a free 90-minute masterclass which will help you to plan your 2026 visibility strategy. Head over to the show notes for the link and let's make sure that next year people actually know just how cool you are.
So obviously your brand centers around your wealthy life. So combining mindset, health, money, relationships. What does that look like in practice for you? And how do you keep those areas in balance when life gets messy? Is it this 777? Is it that? Are there other things that you can recommend?
I mean, first of all, mindset is, it never stops, right? We always want to grow. Every day's a school day. There's always something new to learn. And everyone's got something to teach us, right? Everyone in the world has got something to teach us. So listen and try. What is it? What can I learn right now?
I guess the most helpful things for anyone listening is what happens when you get the most overwhelmed, feel like everything's starting to cave in on you, and where do you turn? And for that, we turn always back to, right, what are we actually trying to achieve here? What's our, not just short term, what's our long-term vision? So we've got the next sort of 10 years mapped out in terms of what we want life to look like in 10 years time for us. That gives us a real shining light at the top of the mountain as to our daily decisions and choices that we make now. And sometimes when we're getting overwhelmed, it's either we're not making some of the micro decisions in the right way we want to, or it's other people's noise a lot of the time. And actually it's, do you know what, when you look at the bigger picture again, it's not important. What feels quite important and noisy and stressful at the moment actually isn't in the grand scheme of things. So it's coming back to our big vision and purpose. That's mainly what we do. And always, like, how do we show up? Like Kate said, being the best versions of ourselves, being the best role models to the kids. We're really passionate about showing to them that you don't have to grow up in really privileged situations always to do well in life. Yeah. Also, you don't have to be an absolute dickhead with how you treat other people to do well in life. And everyone's version of success looks different. So work out what your version is and try and work towards that version of success rather than living what maybe is an Instagram version of success or somebody else's version of success.
Your brand is all about showing the real side of success and not just this filtered version that we see elsewhere. How do you decide what to share publicly and what to keep private in terms of being a couple and a family?
Great question. I think early doors we talked about that as well, didn't we? About which parts we are happy to share and which parts we aren't. And as the children have grown up, we then ask them about what they're happy to share and what they're happy not to as well, because it's their life. And so when you put something online, it's there forever, isn't it? It's not like a newspaper used to be where, you know, it would be tomorrow's chip paper. It's there forever now. We come back to, what is the purpose of this? What's the intention of doing this? So if we're sharing something, personal or business or otherwise, why are we sharing it? Who is it for? If it's an impact if it's going to help somebody, is it going to help us? What is it actually for? Because otherwise it ends up being a bit of a vanity project, doesn't it?
It's trying to be really, really open and share as much of that as possible. So it's very real and very impactful as much as we can to help people. But I think it's simply that kind of scale of cost and reward. What is the reward for what we want to share and why? And is there a cost to it? And if it's a cost to our family or our children or something like that, then we just won't. But if it's that we can, or can we change something within it so we're still teaching and sharing the same lesson that we want to share or what we've learned or the same pain, but in a different way. So it still comes across, but it's not personal, it's not emotional for anyone. It's not somebody that we know or love going, oh, they're talking about me. Like, that's not, we're trying to do everything we do with the most respect and kindness for everyone that we can.
I think that's a lot of that's with ownership of it as well. So we a lot of the time we speak from ourselves, you know, rather than like, and that comes a lot with the no blame culture as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough one. Anyone who's got children, especially like teenagers, no blame culture. That is a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know, because you have to own it then yourself. And we get the kids telling us back now, don't we? No blame culture. No blame culture.
Yeah, but well, sunk in then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think because we've got different businesses in different industries as well. There's different perspectives and angles to look at everything we're doing. So we're trying to cater for all of that. So some of our investors, for example, in our property businesses, that it's important for them to know we're still around, what we're doing, sharing our story, sharing that it's not always easy and there's challenges with that. But we always want to make sure that there's something in it that's worthwhile, and not just, like Kate said, it's not just an ego trip of us trying to be loud and noisy on social media and look at us. It's how can we help somebody that maybe they need to hear something that day.
You guys talk about helping people escape the apathy tax, that stuck low energy place where people are just going through the motions. What are the biggest signs that you see that someone's paying that tax, and how do they start breaking out of it?
Okay, interesting question. Well, I think a few key phrases. Tell me if you've ever heard this. That's just the way I am.
Yeah.
That's one of the big ones, isn't it? That's just the way things are. Things like that don't happen to people like me. They're everywhere. They're key phrases everywhere, aren't there? And you can hear it. People just assuming that there's nothing out there for them, or it won't happen for them. It kind of, I'm now about to go into manifestation, I suppose. But people think if you manifest something, it just magic appears. It doesn't. It's the steps that you're taking. And a lot of the time, the apathy tax is just doing nothing, letting life sweep you by.
It is that. It's people either not taking accountability or responsibility for how they want something to be, and it isn't how they want it to be at the moment. It's talking about what they would like it to be, but it isn't at the moment.
Yeah.
It's all of these things, and working out that what they're saying is actually, if they had a choice, their life isn't, something in their life or multiple parts of their life isn't how they would want it to be or how they choose to be right now. And then there's no either acceptance of responsibility for that, or no hope or energy or desire to take the ball by the horns and take it by the scruff of the neck and do something about it and try and control what they can control.
There's just so much of this about as well, isn't there? I mean, you just see it all the time. People, I call them mood hoovers. Just so gloomy all the time, and exactly the phrases that you just said there, Katie, before. Just you see it all the time, don't you?
I read a quote at the weekend, and I love reading different quotes to get me thinking differently. But it was, these types of people will find a problem for every solution, and it's like,
oh yeah,
isn't it? Just mood hoovers. Just give me a solution, and I'll find the problem for you.
Yeah, we don't want to hang around with them, or they need to come to you, and you can shake them out of it.
You've got to want to change something, haven't you? My question, if anyone thought, while we were saying those phrases, if anyone thought, actually, I say that, think about what you do want it to be like. If you want it, like, what if you could wave a magic wand, what would it look like in those 5 areas that we talk about in your wealthy life? Maximum health, assets, growth mindset, income, and connection. So what would you like each of those to be like? What is the perfect? Because if you know what the perfect is, at least you know where you're going to. I mean, most people, you talk about the sat nav. You don't just get in the car and drive around, do you? You pin in where you want to go to. Even if you change your mind halfway there, where do you want to go to? Where are you actually aiming for? I mean, it rarely is a straight line. It's like up here. It's like right round the houses, isn't it? But what are you actually aiming for? It gives us a really big clue. Because the majority of those people who don't know or say it's not for them, they won't have a clue where they're aiming for.
And I guess the world that we both operate in, we're often encouraged to set goals and to think about all of these things, but most people aren't, which is why they need this support, so that they can just get that clarity. Because as soon as you identify what these goals are or how you want things to look, it's then just working backwards, isn't it? What would you say has been your biggest lesson as a couple in business? So something maybe that's shaped how you show up now, both in life and in your brand?
Start with the end in mind is always a big one for us. Like, so we've done this with personal and with business, haven't we? So when we, decided to get married, we talked about what would it look like if it didn't go right. How would we both behave? We talked about having a prenuptial agreement, didn't we? How would we both behave? How would we split things financially? And how would we split things with the kids? And I mean this in business as well.
Yeah.
In business also, if this goes wrong, how are we both going to behave? And we're in property, right? There are things that go different than we expected. There are things that turn sour at times. And with agreements of people, and then legal things have to get involved and whatever else. To say, right, this is what happens if it's going to go wrong, if it does go wrong.
I love all of that. I love all of that because as well, it's much easier and nicer to have those conversations before it gets remotely messy because you've already committed to that. And, as someone that's divorced myself, it is crap, isn't it? And like, I can't ever imagine you two getting divorced, but the fact that you've had that conversation and identified how you would behave and that respect that I'm sure you would have for each other is so important. I really like that one. That's great. Danny, did you have a different one?
Yeah, I'll give you a different one. I think for me, it's being crystal clear. A lot of things go wrong in life, in different relationships, partnerships, businesses, because not all stakeholders, as in like both of us two being the key stakeholders in this, are crystal clear on what the destination and the purpose is, and the rules of the game and of how you want to get there. And if that's not set at the start, then that's just waiting. It's just a time thing until problems start appearing, because finishing line in each person's mind that are different. So it's making sure that where you're heading is the same place, learning the rules of the game. So how are we going to behave within this? Kate's mentioned some of that as well about what happens if this happens. But the next bit within that is ultra communication, checking in regularly, ultra communicating about everything, and just owning your own shit. So no blame culture. So we're getting there as a team together, or we don't get there at all.
Awesome. God, guys, I could talk to you all day, but tell us what's next. Tell us what's next for the Bloomfields. What have you got coming up? What are you working on?
Oh, there's so much happening, Sophie. There's so much happening. And actually, I want to share a little bit of honesty. You just get worried about what the hell is she going to say?
No, not
probably. They say don't work live with animals or kids or Katie.
Yeah.
But a little bit of honesty. We're going to strip things back a little bit. We've been everywhere this year for 2025. We have been pushing ourselves. The businesses are flying, aren't they? But it's been too much. So we are practicing what we preach a bit, and we're just going to strip things back a little bit. We've grown our team. We've employed a lot of people. Things are just changing a bit, aren't they?
Yeah,
So what's next for us? We're still very much in the property world. We're still very much in the coaching world. But I think bringing it back to purpose, we had... We came from very standard backgrounds. We didn't come working class, very working class backgrounds. We have smashed the glass ceiling of what we thought was possible for us, haven't we? And we'll continue to do so for our children and generations to come. But we have this want to impact lives. We had this mission at the beginning of the year to be able to impact the lives of 1 million people in a positive way, not the bank balances, not the businesses, but the lives of 1 million people by podcasts or masterclasses, however we speaking on stages, etc. So we want to impact people.
So we're still around doing lots of things, and we've got a couple of keynotes that we're talking on, which is great, coming up. We've got our own strategy day in November, which is great. We've got plenty of development projects and property projects still in the pipeline for the rest of this year, 2026, and now we're starting to get some for 2027 as well. So that's great.
Scary.
Going on.
But our word of the year this year was bloom, and so we have a word of the year that we help tie into what our longer term goal is, and that helps guide us. Our word of the year last year was freedom, And at the start of last year, it helped us cut loose of a business that we no longer wanted to be involved in. Culturally, it was toxic. It didn't align at all, and it felt pretty crappy. So we sold that in March last year, and we felt that freedom ever since. And this year, as the year's gone on, there's been lots that have been great, and there's been lots actually that have met with our goals that we set, especially for one or two of the businesses. But we felt that freedom going a little bit, and starting to feel a little bit tired. And we've recognised there's been a few alarm bells ringing for us internally of, hang on, I'm starting to feel like that freedom bit's going. So because we're ultra clear on what our big our together personal goal is of how we want our life to be, which includes businesses, we've realised that, okay, before we get too deep down that road and success, if you like, starts trapping us in a certain business, we need to pull back from that and remember why we started it and what we wanted out of that. It's practicing what we preach, and it's staying aligned. We, again, demonstrate to our kids that just because something's going really well in the eyes of the public and other people, like they don't wake up with us every day in our heads. They don't go to bed with us every day in our heads. It's really important for us that we go to sleep feeling really content every day, and every morning we wake up feeling really excited about what's coming this day and this week.
And I guess some of the stuff that you've already spoken about having that time out to talk about things, and the fact that you are a couple in business and in life, means that you can pinpoint that when it is going slightly off track and be able to rein it in, and it's totally in line with all your messaging about what other people should be doing. So that makes total sense. And amazing, exciting. Cool. If anyone watching or listening hasn't come across you two before, where's the best place for them to find you?
Facebook or Instagram, if you want to go on social media. If not social media, you can go to www.bloomfields.life, and that will be the website that will tell you all about us, everything, blogs, freebies, loads of it.
Yeah, come and say hello.
And we'll pop links to all of those in the show notes to make it super easy for people. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Our free profile assessment quiz to see where you're at right now and get hints and tips on how to improve your score. You'll find the link to the quiz in the show notes. If you've enjoyed the episode, it would be mint if you'd subscribe, like, and leave a review. See you next Monday.